what do you think the concept of halal products and halal your range of products in Pakistan, what is the potential and what you are anticipating here?
I think Pakistan already has a very strong food sector. And there's a dual attraction of Pakistan that we see. One is a very large captive market. So the likes of the multinationals and even other foreign companies who want to market to Pakistan as the captive halal consumer market would be very much attracted by this, that even within its own borders there's a huge market and beyond, because we can look at India and Iran and Afghanistan as well, so looking at regionally. Secondly, Pakistan also has production, has an industry as well, so there's a potential for export outside of Pakistan, even into Europe and the US.
You mean the industrialists and exporters here, they can focus on halal products and they can export.
That's right.
They can fetch the international market.
That's right.
What would be the share if they do that?
I think it would be hard to quantify the share, because total trade, for example, if we take the statistics for global halal trade are very scant, simply because halal is not really identified as a field. If we go into the databases and say poultry meat, for example, I can get all the data on that.
Okay.
If I put the halal, it's very hard to find. So
Okay.
we use approximates and proxies. But let's just take the GCC, the Gulf states, for example, because they are the biggest buyers of halal meat by far. The total market there is about $5 billion annually. And most of this is out of Brazil, Australia, New Zealand, the non-Muslim countries, and even India. I think Pakistan's share of that is very, very small. So if we target just its closest big target market of the GCC, then potentially I think Pakistan could take up a fair chunk of that 5 billion. So that's just one particular example.
How can International Halal Integrity Alliance can help Pakistani exporters to develop this phenomena and earn exports through this sector?
I think one thing we can leverage on is our years of experience in this particular sector. It is quite a niche sector, and we've gone through the mill in terms of finding the right data, the kind of intelligence, making the mistakes, and we can pass on this knowledge to Pakistan and its manufacturers. One thing we can say about our main role is that to develop this global halal standard, and this is what is lacking right now, and it actually hinders global trade of halal products, that what is recognized or accepted as halal in one country is not mutually recognized in another. And we're trying to rectify this so that there is a free movement of halal products. So anything that is certified as halal coming out of Pakistan should be accepted anywhere in the world, and likewise coming out of any other Muslim country. So this is what we're trying to promote. And through our experience, we've developed benchmark guidelines. If we're saying, okay, if we want to produce processed food, non-meat based processed food, we have a guideline for that. So that immediately Pakistani producers have an advantage because they're already meeting the benchmark, that is the international benchmark.
Okay.
And I think it's very important to stress here that in terms of global trade and export of food products in particular, halal is a value add. At the very core are the basics in terms of food safety requirements, and which are imposed by the big buyers who are, of course, Europe, US, and they impose a lot more emphasis on the standard of food safety and food quality management systems and so forth. And therefore halal has to sit on top of all that as a value add.
As we have earlier mentioned that there's going to be a big mega international conference
Yes.
in Pakistan in February next year. How can Pakistan gain out of this outcome of this conference?
I think what we found from our own experience when we held the World Halal Forum in Malaysia, this was in May 2006, is that for the first time all the relevant stakeholders were gathered. And it was not a matter of a theological discussion about what is halal and haram. It was about business. It was about the commercial sector. What does the industry face today? What are the issues? What are the issues that the consumers face? And what does the government want to do about it? What will the regulators do about it? What will the certification bodies do about it? So it's really a very useful platform for all the relevant people who have something to say to get together and say it. And it really is from there, I see this Global Halal Expo in February next year as being a catalyst, that from there policies, real action will take place. And coupled with the expo, which is mainly a showcase of products and services, then I think it will be a very strong event back to back. Because people will go for both, and they'll be involved in the discussion, looking at business opportunities, trying to learn some more, networking, and then there's the expo. And I see a lot of trade potentially going on, buyers meeting with sellers, and it's like a big market.
You just said that it's a business, but the name halal itself,
Sure.
it reflects something which is directly related to the religion. How far you have been successful in creating an awareness that it is directly related to commercialism and not to the religion?
I think you made a very good point there, because we do invoke a lot of sensitivities and emotions about using the word halal. But I would say that's a minority. A minority of Muslims are very much against using the word halal for commercial purposes, with good reason probably. But if we look around us, we are being fed by non-Muslim countries and non-Muslim corporations, and who have used halal to their advantage. So if we need to redress the reality here, either we go out to the United Nations, for example, and tell them, okay, we want you to ban the use of the word halal, which we know is an impossible option. And the other option is, okay, this is the reality. We accept the reality that halal has been used in certification and branding and logos. So now it's up to us as Muslims to take back control of halal and reintroduce integrity into it. I mean, it's sad to say that halal right now is in a bit of a mess. It's part of the reason why Aicha Alliance was set up, and that it's fragmented. There's a lot of fabrication, a lot of counterfeiting, a lack of integrity in regulating halal, partly because a lot of secular governments do not want to even touch or get involved in regulating it. So I think it's up to the industry really to self-regulate and take the initiative to fix the problem.
Is it true that the concept of halal products is more successful in non-Muslim countries, because the people there, they have a choice, and in most of the Muslim countries like Pakistan, the food products are already halal?
That's absolutely true. The perception is correct that we find that, for example, the Muslims in Europe are far more discerning. When they go to the supermarkets, they're looking at ingredients, they're looking for a halal logo, so they're much more conscious about it. In Malaysia, we are a multicultural, multi-religious country, so we have always been used to having non-Muslims around us, and therefore there is that heightened sense of consciousness. But you're right, that when I meet with people from obviously 100% or Muslim majority countries, that halal, everything is halal in my country, so it's taken for granted. And but we know that with the onslaught of global trade, there are so much non-halal products coming through into the supermarkets. A friend of mine here told me that he went to a supermarket and found a particular canned food which actually had pork liver, and this was in a supermarket in Karachi. Okay. So it's whether we like it or not, this will creep in.
Yeah, that's true. In the launching ceremony just held, we heard that if Pakistan enters into this market, then Pakistan is going to gain the foreign investment and
sure,
economic stability and value-added things. You support the idea?
Definitely. I think because
how?
Well, I think what's needed is twofold. The government needs to support the initiative in the first place, and I'm glad to see that halal has been included in the trade policy that was announced yesterday, and really facilitate the investment coming in from multinationals or even from investment funds, and to really invest in the areas of going downstream. Right now, Pakistan is very rich in resources and raw materials, but the value add and then where we're talking about increasing GDP contribution is really in the downstream sector, in the packaged and processed foods, products as well, not just food. So this is where the injection of technology as well as investment is required.